Hi, I'm Shanti, the artist behind Shanti Finance. Today is an oil painting tutorial and I am going to show you how to paint this realistic peacock feather. I started off on a canvas toned with gray color and then I sketched out my peacock feather with a white charcoal pencil from Generals. All the materials are linked below in the video description, so you need not worry about that, just check it out. Once I had my drawing done, and by the way, the drawing is available in the link below in the video description for you to have a rough sketch or outline to start with. I started off with a turquoise color which belonged to a Gamblin color. I don't think any other brand has this bright a turquoise color, and put it in different areas of the peacock feather. I'm closely following a couple of reference photos, partially copying one of them and partially copying the other. You can find multiple different kinds of reference photos, and I always insist on having a reference photo if you want a very realistic look. After the turquoise, I am going around the different areas or different sections of the peacock feather with a combination of blue and purple. Now, the amount of blue and purple, I'm varying it to create different variations and depth in color. And then I'm coming back in the different sections in between the purple and blue areas with different colors. So the center is dark blue, which comprises of a Prussian blue and phthalo blue, and the center of that dark blue I have added some turquoise to lighten it up. Then is the turquoise section. Then there is a section where I have added flesh tint mixed with different yellows. Then again there is a turquoise layer, and then there is a final feathery layer where I have used a multitude of different colors. And in the strands down below, I started off with phthalo blue mixed with purple again, and most of the areas are covered with that. And some of the areas you can see at the top right has turquoise, and some of the areas on the top left has flesh tint. Somewhere in between I've used some yellows as well. In certain areas I have lightened up the flesh tint with some yellows. In certain areas I have lightened up the turquoise with some yellows as well to give a more greenish look. The thing about peacock feather is that it has multiple different colors, and from different angles it has a variety of colors. Now with a detail brush on some of the bottom strands, I'm adding a little dots to be very precise, and this is to show off the sparkles that we often see on peacock feathers. Now use this dot sparingly because the sparkle cannot be everywhere. It is only where the light is reflecting off the surface, so be very careful where you're putting the sparkles and follow your reference photo closely to have a more realistic look. And this whole painting was done in a couple of sittings. Initially I was thinking of working wet on wet and finishing it off in one day, but then after about halfway through I realized that if I let this layer dry completely and then add another layer, that would definitely add a lot of more depth, as well as glazing can obviously make some of the colors much brighter. So I let the layer dry and then came back with a different layer. Now what you're watching currently is still the very first day's work. And for the background I chose one area to be gray, and in fact the entire background is gray, but one side is a little bit lighter gray than the other. Now you are watching the second day of the painting. I'm starting with the flesh tint section of the painting, and here I'm trying to get more of the individual strand kind of looks. Part of it is the flesh tint and the rest of it is Indian yellow, and some of it is even cadmium yellow. So using the different kinds of yellows and flesh tints in this section creates not only a nice reflection but also kind of imitates the different color profile that generally peacock feather has. A peacock feather, the different ways you bend it, you will see very many different colors, and that is what I have tried
to portray to the best of my abilities over here. Now I'm darkening the edges of each section with once again a mixture of purple and blue, and once again I will keep on varying the amount of blue or purple in different areas of these border sections to make it look to give the painting a lot more variety and brightness. Each of the section of the painting in the second day I touched it up to make it even more brighter. The turquoise, I made it more turquoise to make it glow. And where there are yellows, I have often mixed a little bit of turquoise with the yellows to give a greenish yellow look. Some areas I've even used some unbleached titanium white for the brighter highlights. And in the very center of the blue section, I have used turquoise to lighten it up. I have almost negligibly used white in this painting, definitely not straight up white. White I have used only to lighten the turquoise to a lighter turquoise, that you will see those in the strands on the outer sections of the feather. I can see I'm painting right now. These are the ones where the turquoise I lightened it up with a little bit of white, and also the flesh tint I lightened it up with a little bit of white. And then I came back with a darker shade of purple and blue around to create the dark light contrasting effect. Finally, I'm touching up the background by going it in between the feather areas and making the dark areas darker and the light areas lighter to give the feather a pop in the foreground. The background is only to create the contrast here, and it's a vehicle to carry the whole painting and not really the painting itself. So I'm touching up the entire background area, going over section by section, and by this time the painting is almost complete. I just added a few more dots, or rather the sparkles, once again to make the sparkly look complete. And once that is done, the entire painting is complete. So I hope you like that painting. Let me know your thoughts and share them with me in the comment section. Do not forget to hit the subscribe and the notification button so that you get notified every time I post a new video. Thank you for watching.